And there's kind of two major categories of disrespect we have to look at off the rip. Disrespect from a female and disrespect from a male. And then there are categories within each thing. So first, let me talk disrespect from a female. There's verbal disrespect, meaning they're just yapping, but there's no action, right? There's physical disrespect when they put their hands on you, right? And then there's the third category, which slander, speaking up on you, throwing dirt on your name. So let's look at those three categories of disrespect coming from a woman. And you also have to ask yourself about the position of the woman in your life. So though you didn't elaborate, let me make a few assumptions just so I can break this down for you. So if a woman disrespects you, meaning insults you to your face, you just let her yap. That's fine. Let her carry on. And remember, from a distance, people can't tell who is a fool and who is not a fool. So if they see two persons arguing, they can't separate out who's an idiot and who's not an idiot. So if you end up arguing with a fool, you will look like a fool. So if someone, female or otherwise, starts slandering you to your face, you can just ignore it, remove yourself from the situation. If it's your significant other and she's blasting you in public verbally, I would say get rid of her. Me personally, I have never had a single time in my entire life where a woman was my girlfriend, or I was romantically involved with, or involved with in any way, who verbally abused me in public. I've never had that situation. If I ever had that situation, I would send her packing ASAP. So that's number one. If she has the audacity to try to verbally abuse you in public, send her packing ASAP. Because that indicates a couple things. Number one, females are generally speaking physically inferior. So if they would pop off at the mouth in public, that means A, they have no respect for you, and two, they're a little bit crazy because they're putting themselves at risk. Anytime you're engaging a bigger animal, right, you need to have consideration of where things can go. If they put their hands on you, my brothers, if they don't draw blood, if they don't hurt you, if they don't do anything major, and they put their hands on you, get rid of them. And you'll never hear me say this, but if it's a serious situation where they put their hands on you, call the police. Why? Why do I say that? Not because I use the police, but because it's strategic, meaning that they're probably going to call the police on you. You better call the police first, because if they call the police before you, you're going to jail and you're going to have to catch a case. Whether you beat it or not, who cares? It's going to take time and money. So if you call the police first, you're going to be in an advantage situation. So if they ever put their hands on you and it's serious, call the police. But if they put their hands on you and you can remove yourself from the situation, do that. But I can tell you, the pimpin' is always going to handle the situation intellectually. I kid you not, I had a situation, and this was also when I was in Baltimore. There was a woman I was involved with, and she was trying to express something to me, but the conversation was over because I ended the conversation, meaning I said the conversation is over, which means I have nothing to say. I also have nothing to hear, which means you have nothing to say and you have nothing to hear. So I started to walk away, and she grabbed my shoulder and tried to pull me around to face her. And I turn around and I continue to walk away, and then she pulls me even harder, violently. And then I calmly put my hands on her shoulders, not to hurt her, not to squeeze her or anything like that, but lovingly. Because when a woman gets physical with you, and a pimp knows this, a lot of women want a whooping just to show them that you love them. Why? Because they're dysfunctional. They're so dysfunctional that violence, the attention that they're getting, the intense attention, the violence that you enact on them makes them feel loved and cared for. Why? Because they grew up in an abusive situation where that's where they got the most intense attention. And that kind of woman is generally broken, and you generally want to get out of there. But what I did is I put my hands on her shoulder and I said, now there's no reason to touch me like that. I don't know what's happened in your past, but I'm not going to put my hands on you. I'm not going to hurt you. I love you very much. And I pulled her in to hug me. And I told her in her ear, don't ever, ever, ever again put your hands on me like that or any other man, because it's not safe for you. You put yourself in a bad situation. And we are over. We will never again be. You can take as much time as you like to pack your... So, remember, fellas, don't put your hands on a... because I can guarantee you the American justice system is going to take your... We're in the #MeToo era. Now let's get on to the men. If a man verbally disrespects you, for the most part, it depends on the situation. There's a lot of context. Me, personally, if you're smart, I think generally speaking, if it's just words and it's not affecting your money, your ability to earn, it's not affecting anything major, let it go. Let it go. If you're in the hood and this is someone in your community and you know that letting them keep popping off their lip is going to deride your reputation in a way that's going to cause other people to flex on you, I say you nip it in the bud immediately. Me, I've always been about killing an ant with a sledgehammer. Why? Because when you do that, people know not to you. I always say when you come in the environment, establish yourself immediately. And that's why people have these ice grills. And I remember I didn't realize how I was groomed until I got to college. I remember this distinctly. When I was in my first year in university, people were taking all these pictures and I would never smile in the pictures and they'd be like, Marquette, smile in the picture. We 1, 2, 3 cheese, smile. And I never smiled because I realized when I was growing up, anytime somebody was about to take a picture, we would just ice grill the camera because we were brought up to be grimy and aggressive so people didn't fuck with us. And I was just so ingrained that I never smiled. I had to learn how to smile. So I say that to say, when people think you're sweet, they're going to try to get a taste of you. So where I grew up, we used to say you're nice. I know on the East Coast, they're like, oh, it's like saying he's a good rapper, but we used to say you're nice to disrespect you. You know, we'd be like, oh, Sean, he nice, man. Don't worry about him. He's nice. He's a librarian. So I said, if you're in a hood situation and somebody's disrespecting you, nip it in the bud. It's a difficult era to commit certain acts and get away with it. But I say, if you have an enemy and you can completely disable them or take them out on the low without getting in trouble for it, do it. Do it hard. Do it well. I recommend it. That's what I would do. But in most cases, if you can avoid violence, probably your best legal option. But there are a lot of situations where you encounter microaggressions. And microaggressions are just when people are kind of getting outside of their character, poking out their chest a little more than it should be. For example, just this weekend, I probably experienced maybe 4 or 5 situations where people thought they were about to flex. And then you realize, wow, 99.9% of the planet Earth is. There's another situation. There were these 2 guys walked up, and Bridget was there. She could attest to everything I'm saying. 2 guys walked up. One was my size, one was bigger than me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So 2 guys walk up. The one that's my size walked around this table and came on the left side of Bridget like, oh, hey, do you mind if I get on this side? I said, yeah, actually, I do mind. Why don't you come around and come on my side? Don't stand on her side. Yeah. Then the other guy was like, maybe like 8 feet away, did something impolite. And I was like, hey, what's up? Which is to say, don't do that. And then he just looked at me with that shocked look of, oh, wow, I see who's running over here. And he didn't say, didn't do shit. Had a little size on him. But the thing is, muscles don't win fights. Nah, not at all. That's why Anthony Joshua got knocked out against Ruiz. So I say that to say, when you come into a situation, always establish yourself. And number 2, always be ready to deliver the goods. I don't pop off at the mouth if I'm not ready to pop off any other way. Me, I'll go the whole mile. And the sad thing is, the way I was conditioned, I truly intellectually want to stay calm 99.9% of the time because that's always going to win. When I told old boy at the other end of the table and other old boy like, no, you can't stand there. Stand on this side. If they didn't win against it, yeah, it'd have been a problem. Which is to say, generally speaking, you don't want people to disrespect you. If you let people know immediately that it can't happen, guess what? They'll bow down. Because most of the time people are trying to look at you, trying to size you up. They see your boy in the cream cardigan. They're like, oh yeah, homie's nice. And then they find out, no, not at all, little homie. You're the little homie. I'm the big homie.